So, good morning, children. Welcome to your English class. So, today we are going to start with the very first lesson of your Flamingos, the last lesson. Why is your national language important? It is important because it represents the national identity of a country and is a driving force behind unity in any country. This lesson, the last lesson, is by Alfonso Daudet. He was born in 1840. Now let us look at the background of the writer. Daudet was born in Nimes, France, on 1st November 1857. He abandoned teaching and took refuge with his brother, Ernest Daudet, to make a living as a journalist in Paris. He took to writing, and his poems were collected into a small volume, L'Amoureuse, 1858, and this met with a lot of recognition. He wrote some plays and began to be recognized in the literary communities as a man with distinction and promise. Later, he was enlisted in the army and he took part in the Franco-Prussian War. France's defeat in the Franco-Prussian War had a deep impact on him. And this lesson, the last lesson, is one of his best-known stories. If we look at the historical setting of this lesson, a long period of French rule ended after the defeat of France by Prussia in the Franco-Prussian War in 1871. And as winner of the war, Germany, under the ruler Bismarck, annexed the two districts of France, Alsace and Lorraine, and they passed on to Germany. Because of this defeat, the order came from Berlin that instead of French language, German language would be taught. If we look at the geographical setting of this lesson, the region of Alsace and Lorraine is located in northeastern France on the border with Germany. So the setting of this lesson is in the days of the Franco-Prussian War. The French districts of Alsace and Lorraine were captured by the Germans. The new master was to come the next day in the school to teach German in place of French. The story tells the effect of this news on the life at a school in Alsace and through the feelings of this boy, France. The story is based on a day, that is, that eventful day. France, a school-going boy, say 11 or 12 years, did not want to go to school. The reason being he had not learned participles and his teacher, M. Hamel, was strict, so the boy preferred to bunk the class. The outdoors settings were very impressive. It was a bright sunshine. Prussian soldiers were drilling and birds were chirping. But he decided to overcome his temptation and go to school. On the way to school, he passed town hall and he saw the bulletin board there, which was very important those days because all important information related to war was posted in the bulletin board. And he saw the crowd was reading, but he decided to proceed to school. When he reached school, the school had already started. The routine day in the school was there was a lot of noise, lessons were repeated in unison, and there was a regular rapping of the teacher's ruler. But that day, the school was as still as a Sunday morning. Classmates had already occupied their places, and his teacher, M. Hamill, was dressed formally. The children, adults, old Hauser, former postmaster, former mayor, were already occupying the last benches. So that means it was not the usual ordinary day. As he entered the class, the teacher, instead of getting angry with him, asked him to take his seat, and then a very important announcement was made by M. Hamill. And the announcement was, it was their last French lesson. These words fell like thunderclap, shock, because the order from Berlin had come that as France was defeated in the Franco-Prussian War, instead of French language, German language would be taught. Hence, it was their last French lesson. Now, Franz realized how he had neglected his own language. The reason why French language was neglected was the carefree attitude of students. Parents also made their children work instead of attending the school. And teacher himself realized that he was casual at times and took leave and made students go for his personal errands. But that day, the teacher, Mr. M. Hamill, made all efforts to make his last class effective. He tried to impress upon his students and the class the importance of French as a language, which was clear, logical, and beautiful, as well as importance of French as a national language, as it was the key to their freedom. He taught the last lesson with lot of fervor, enthusiasm, all the 4 skills of language learning were drilled on the class that day, like grammar, writing, history, recitation. And students also responded with lot of attention. Finally, the time had come for the class to be dismissed. It was an emotional parting. The clock struck 12, and M. Hamill bid good boy. He wrote on the blackboard, without facing the class, "Vive la France, long live France," and with a gesture dismissed the class. The teacher had done his bit, and that was arousing in the people of France love for their national language. If we look at the theme of the lesson, the dominant theme